Tettey Otson. President of the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, GANET. We're going to be talking about Christmas and HIV. Oh, you think that these two should not be in the same sentence? Did you really say that? Well, we'll tell you why it is important to think about the two in this festive season. Because, well, I don't have the answer. Mwabing is the one who has them. Good morning to you, sir. Happy New Year to you.
Very good morning to you, and many happy returns.
Yes, you are my first guest.
Wow.
For the year 2025.
Wow, that's very special.
Very special. If Jesus comes, we are all going.
Charlie, straight up, straight up.
We are going, no curve, no bend.
Straight up, straight up.
Where did you spend your 31st night? Were you in church or you couldn't make it?
No, I couldn't make it.
Oh, why?
Well, I have this, I call it end of year ritual.
Okay.
So every 31st night, I spend it at home.
Okay.
And I pray and pray and pray and pray into the new year.
Into the new year.
I find the
whole church thing is
sometimes
more
too
populist.
Exactly. Sometimes too crowded. You're not able to focus.
I
love meditations. So yes, I love meditation. So
maybe I should adopt it next year.
Yes, no, I've been doing this for more than a decade. Every 31st.
You do it with the family or just you?
The family goes to church.
And then you stay behind and do the meditation.
And in my quiet time, I reflect, I meditate, and I pray into the new year. And I found out that it's been working for me.
It's been effective.
It's been very, very effective for me.
You say that you've been doing this for 10 years.
More than 10 years.
More than 10 years.
Yes,
now, but what was that trigger that, moved you from going to church, enjoying the mass, the masses to do it?
I used to do the crossover,
and then what happened?
Run over, push over.
I know, right?
Then
jump over.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I found it very boring.
Okay.
And I also found out that a lot of churches were just creating some bars around it, and it wasn't really spiritual for me.
For you, yeah.
So I'm a very reserved person, so I love my quiet moments. So I said that, well, I will do my
you
quiet.
Do it your way, and it's been working, like you say.
It's been working for me.
Yeah,
it's always a great way to end the year and enter
the new year. Yeah. I mean, it's very fascinating, the whole New Year craze, because 31st, and then the next day is 1st of a new year.
Yes.
I say that if we approach every day like that, perhaps we'll be more appreciative.
I think so too.
Of a lot of things.
I think so too. Because really, what was the difference?
Yeah,
it's just,
the numbers changing.
Exactly, and then before you realize,
we are back at it
exactly.
again.
Exactly. So, I agree with you. We should approach every day as if it were a new year. Yeah. So all the reflections we make. Well, one of my New Year resolutions is to dedicate the first of every month to this, my reflections.
Fantastic.
That's what I want to do. The first day of every month, I want to just dedicate it to prayer, reflections, and all of that.
It's important that we remain in touch.
Yes.
With the Creator.
Exactly.
It's very important.
So I agree.
Sometimes we get carried away with all the excitement. Like Christmas.
Yes.
We can get away. We can get carried away and forget that there are deadly diseases, moving around and everything.
Yes.
But when I said Christmas and HIV, I'm sure a lot of people were wondering why do you put the two in the same sentence? But why should we even be talking about HIV and Christmas?
Yes, and why should we be talking about HIV on New Year's
Day?
I
mean, you want to pour sand in our gari.
Okay, so the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, the organization that I lead, we've been around since 1996.
Okay.
And we have been very active in the national response against HIV and AIDS. We serve on the Ghana AIDS Commission board. So I always say we act as the civil society arm of the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Okay.
And so we have been supporting the national response since the commission was created 2002, thereabouts.
Okay.
And we've been running programs, educating the public, doing advocacy, resource mobilization in support of the national HIV and AIDS response. Now, for the year 2024, we decided to do something unique. Towards the end of the year, we actually started by 26th. We actually pitched our tent at Laboma Beach because we realized that a lot of activities were planned along that stretch. So we pitched our tent there, and every single day we were there to talk to people,
sensitize people about HIV.
Let them be aware that as we go about the festivities, enjoying ourselves, we should be mindful that HIV and AIDS, other STIs, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, herpes, are still very much present in our system.
Sure.
And we need to, protect ourselves from getting infected from any of these diseases. So we've been at it throughout this Christmas period into the new year. Today is our final day, and we have been distributing condoms to people who cannot abstain from sex, who would not want to be faithful to their partners. We've asked them that, look, don't take any risk. There are lots of foreigners in the system around this time. A lot of buggers are in town. You might just want to go for one quick nightstand, and before you realize, you catch an infection. So don't get infected. Protect yourself. And then we've also been encouraging people to know their HIV status. Okay. Because it's also very, very important that we all get to know our status. The good news is that in Ghana, our prevalence is 1.53.
1.53, okay.
So which basically means that out of every 100 Ghanaians you meet, there's a chance that 2 of them may be HIV positive. So the 98 are negative. And chances are that you are part of the 98. So take the test, clear your mind, and then make that strong resolution. We've had people test for the first time, and they go like, "Oh God, thank you." I mean, they exclaim and ask them why, and say, "Charlie, we do things so. Charlie, we do things so." So people have done things, and sometimes they are so scared, they are so worried that they may be infected. But as I said, the good news is that out of every 100 Ghanaians, 98 are negative. Okay. So more people test, they know their status. Now that they are convinced they're negative, they now begin to take steps to prevent themselves from getting infected.
Now, we'll get into some of the figures, how we are doing as of now.
Sure.
And, whether... we are talking about Christmas and HIV, the festivities. Whether you've also noticed a trend as to whether you've noticed a trend of maybe perhaps a spike during periods like these. But how dangerous is, the festive season like this and the others? Like we have Kwewu, we have all the, I mean, a lot happens there as well. Christmas as well as, Easter and all those.
Yeah.
How dangerous are those festivities to the spread of the virus?
Okay, so the thing is that I will explain something to you.
Okay.
When someone gets infected with HIV, sometimes depending on the person's immunity, the person's immune system, the person can live with a disease for up to 10 years
without knowing,
without showing any symptoms.
Wow.
So people get infected, they're not aware, they can't even determine when they got infected. However,
or who even
infected them,
or how they got
infected. Thank you. But there is a type of test called the recency test. Unfortunately, we are not doing it here in Ghana. Okay. Because it's quite expensive.
What is a recency test?
So if you do a recency test, the test is able to tell you exactly when you got infected.
Wow. Even if you find out 10 years later.
Even if, yes. It
the recency test will give you
the period
within which you got
infected. How long the virus has been present in you.
In your body.
So if we were doing that kind of recency test, then your your theory that you are proposing could have tested
as
it.
to whether
your hypothesis rather. We could have just tested it to see that yes, around this time
there's a spike.
At the moment, we don't have the recency test, so we cannot tell it. But what we have observed is that around this time, as you said, many people get carried away. And these days, we talk to young people, and condom use is on the low side. I think 2022 report by the Ghana Statistical Service, the Ghana Demographic Health Survey, it shows that condom use has dropped. People are no longer using condoms. And so if you find all these activities around the Christmas period into the new year and people are not using condoms, then we get worried, we get concerned. So that's why we decided to intensify the campaign this year. And so far the response has been very encouraging. So we hope that in fact, the National Youth Control Program has asked us to give them a calendar of all the holidays throughout this year. So we plan activities around, the period, starting with the Valentine. So we plan educational programs, around this time and create that sensitization that the virus is still present and we need to protect ourselves.
It's not gone anywhere. Is it me or the craze around Valentine has dwindled a little bit, or it's because maybe I'm not paying attention?
Well, maybe because you are not paying attention.
Hey, it's still happening.
It's still happening. The younger ones, they get to experience their first Valentine, and they are so excited about it. And like we were saying these days, people really don't care about sex. They think it's nothing. I can have sex and so what? People don't really, care about it anymore like it used to be. So Valentine, let me have sex for the first time. Valentine, if you love me, let's have sex. That kind of thing is very common. And so what we want to do is that around those days, throughout this year, we're running these sensitization campaigns. And we're very happy that Starr, you've given us free airtime to come and talk about HIV. We're so happy.
We prioritize the health of our audience.
That's
and
excellent.
It's important that we sensitize them. Sometimes we forget that this virus is still here with us, and so we live free, but then it's lurking around the corner. But you have been on this sensitization drive for a very long time.
Sure.
Would you say that you've seen visible, fruits from it?
Oh yes, I would say so. Garnet started running an HIV self-testing project in 2023. So 2023, we started running this HIV self-testing project. And we distributed more than 150,000 kits across the country. And you will see something. In 2023, the National AIDS Control Program reported that between January and September of that year, the number of people who tested for the very first time were 23,000. Tested positive, positive. Now, the same period, 2024, January to September, the figures shot up from 23,000 to 35,000. Newly diagnosed cases, persons who didn't know their status before, but then probably they heard about a self-test, probably they took a test, probably they went for a confirmatory test. The numbers shot up from 23,000 to 35,000, an increment of 12,000. So, and we are hoping that as we have entered this new year, when the figures for 2024 come, we will see an increase in the numbers, because it is estimated that about 100,000 Ghanaians are living with the virus, but they are not aware. That's the estimation. About 100,000 Ghanaians are living with the virus, but they are not aware. So we need to encourage people to test. And the good news is that once you test and you are reactive or positive, we put you on treatment. And the treatment is free. You go on treatment, the treatment is free. And the good news about the treatment is that if you go on treatment and you stay on treatment religiously for about 6 months, you see a very positive result.
Yeah.
You will see the viral load in you come down to the point where you will no longer be able to transmit the virus to other
another
people.
person.
And that's how come there are people, let me say, mothers who are HIV positive, but they have given birth to their children
and
the
they are
children
negative.
And that's how come there are what we call discordant couples. Couples where one person is positive, another one is negative, but they live for years. I know several of them. They live for years, and the other one has remained uninfected because the other one who is on treatment has suppressed their virus.
And when you do desensitizations, are there at times where you encounter some challenges in the sensitization where maybe there's some form of resistance whatsoever?
Exactly.
Or people, make light of the issue?
No. I mean, we still have issues, and that's because of the stigma that surrounds this whole disease. Okay, if you look at our data in Ghana, about 80% of all cases of HIV are from sexual intercourse. About 80%. 15% from mother to child. 15%. And then the remaining 5%, sharing of sharp objects and blood transfusion and the others. So because majority of the cases are associated with sex, people tend to think that, oh, well, you've gone to have sex and you've gotten the disease. Some people believe, oh, it's a punishment from God because you were unfaithful. Some people believe that, it's a curse. So because of that, there's a lot of stigma that surrounds the disease.
Yeah.
So even though a lot of people are ready to test, there are others who still have their reservations and they don't want to test at all. And we also have sometimes also encounter problems. When we talk about condoms, some people get offended. Why are you talking about condom? Why are you not telling people to abstain? Why are you not telling people to be faithful?
Yeah.
And why are you rather giving them condoms? But the point is that, you see, in public health, we put aside issues of morality, religion, and all of that, and face the reality. And the reality is that there are some people, no matter what you do, they will still go out of their way to live their lives the way they want to. Now, if you decide not to give any interventions to these people, these are the very people who will mingle with the general population and then spread the disease that you are dealing with. So when we do the condom programming, it's not as if we are encouraging people to become promiscuous. No, we are saying that if you cannot abstain, you cannot stay faithfully to a single uninfected partner, then your best bet is to protect yourself and don't get, infected.
And in the sensitization, do you get the religious bodies involved, like, for instance, the churches, the mosques as well?
Oh, yes. The churches and, in the early days, there was that resistance. Some churches don't, want to hear the word condom at all. Some also, I remember there was a day we were doing these outreaches, and then we went to a particular household, and we were telling them about the antiretroviral drugs and how if you go on treatment, you can achieve viral suppression. But there was an elderly, man, a very highly religious man. He actually drove us away from his house.
Wow.
He didn't understand why we were talking about the fact that there's treatment available. For him, if you say treatment is available,
it will be more reckless.
Exactly, you are encouraging people to. So there are some religious fanatics who think that no, don't talk about these things. If they get infected, it's because God wants to punish them. But we've been telling people that, you see, the landscape has changed. 2024, Ghana celebrated 20 years of the introduction of antiretroviral therapy in the country. Now, what this means is that for 20 years, we've been giving medications to people, and I know people who have survived for this last 20 years because they were on treatment. Now, think about this. There were young children who were born around that time, and because of antiretroviral drugs, they have also survived till now. And as we speak, some of them are in school, some have reached, age for, marrying and all of that. And these are people who were born with a disease.
Yeah.
They didn't, do anything. They were just born with a condition.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't need to stigmatize people. There could be somebody who was just born with a disease.
That way.
So we don't need to stigmatize people. Yeah.
But the sensitization in relation to stigmatization, is it sticking? Are people buying into it, or it, as we say locally, it enters one ear and passes another ear? Or you are making steady progress?
Steady progress. Steady progress in the sense that, you see, unlike other countries, unlike other societies where people come out boldly to declare their status, irrespective of which rank of they occupy in society. We don't do that here, so everybody gets infected and they keep quiet about it. I can tell you that in almost every household now, you have at least one person who is HIV positive, or in every neighborhood, there must be one person that you probably know who is HIV positive. Now the disease is not so far away from us.
Yeah.
There are people who are living with the disease, and each time we go on radio for sensitization like this, people will call in and say, oh yes, I have a colleague who's HIV positive, oh I know this person, oh I know that person. So because of that knowledge that yes, the disease is present in the community, the stigma is now going down. Because if you know somebody who is HIV positive, the person is even your colleague, the person is your friend or something, it makes you understand that, okay, so you can't get the virus merely by sitting down with the person, by talking to the person, by eating with the person, by hugging with the person. So these things are helping to let the stigma go down. But there are people who are still completely ignorant of the disease and how it infects and how it does not infect, and they are the ones who fuel the stigma.
Okay, so your campaign focus, is this solely on HIV or it is on the other STIs as well?
Oh, just like our name suggests, Ghana HIV and AIDS Network. So our primary focus is on HIV.
And AIDS.
But then, yes, and AIDS. But then we work closely with the Ghana AIDS Commission and then the National AIDS Control stroke STI program. So the NACP, they deal with other diseases, the other STIs.
Okay.
And so when we go out, we actually talk about the other STIs as well.
Okay. Well, we are just about wrapping up.
Sure.
You talked about the self-tests. Kits, right? Yes.
So, so we have this.
How does it work?
Okay, very good. There are two types of self-test kits approved in Ghana.
Okay.
We have the oral-based, and then we have the blood-based.
Okay.
Today I came around with the blood-based. So this is one of those approved by our government.
Okay.
It's checked now from Abbott.
Okay.
And it's very simple. Let me see if I can just use some 5 minutes to, open the kits and let you know. But before you test, we advise you to wash your hands very clean. There's a video that guides you on how to test. When you get the kits, there's a code here that you can scan. Once you scan the code, it will help you to get the video that will help, so that will guide you.
The barcode there.
The barcode there.
Okay.
If you scan it, it will help you to get the video that will help you to scan.
Okay.
So after you've washed your hands and everything is clean, just bring out your kits. And it's very simple.
How many kits come in a pack?
Oh, it's just one.
Okay.
It's just one. It's just one kit per pack.
Okay.
And
do you have to inject yourself?
You just have to prick. I wouldn't say inject. Finger, pricking. You just prick your finger, and then you get
and you put the droplets of the blood on.
So you put the blood here in the. You put 2 droplets here, And then when you put 2 droplets here, you pick one.
Okay.
You use a pipette here.
Okay.
You use this your pipette here. You pick from this side.
Okay.
And then you put it here.
Okay.
When you put it here, then this is your buffer. You just open your buffer. And you just drop one.
Okay.
Into the basin.
Okay, that's what is going to activate it.
Yes. And then you wait for 15 minutes. Okay. This is a lancet that you use to fingerprint, prick yourself. Okay. And it's not painful. It's not painful at all. If you ask people who normally check their, how do you call it?
Blood sugar.
Blood sugar and all of that, they'll tell you the lancets they use these days are not painful. You just have to just prick yourself and then you put 2 droplets here. And then that is it. You put your buffer. You wait for 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, you will get to know. Now, there are 2, when you look at the test kits, there are 2. We have the C and then the T. Okay. The C is the control, and then T is the test. When you wait for 15 minutes, you will see that there will be a mark, a line that will come on the C. If you see that C a line, it means your test was correct. Okay. If it's just one line, your test was non-reactive, so it means you are negative. But if you see 2 lines, one on the C, one on the control, then it means you are reactive. We are not saying you are positive. We are saying you are reactive.
Reactive, what does it mean?
What it means is that,
you are almost there.
not exactly. In Ghana, before we actually declare someone as HIV positive,
yes,
the person has to go through what we call the 3-test algorithm. The person will have to go to 3 different tests before we can confirm that individual as positive. Okay. So when you test and you are reactive, 3 different tests.
I'm sure you space it, right?
No. When you go to the facility, they'll just do it for you straight away.
Okay. I thought that maybe if it's a 3, if you do the first one and it's not too clear.
Yes, they'll do the first one. Then they'll look at the results. If it's also reactive, and then positive, then they'll do a second one. It's also positive. They'll do a third one positive. Then that is it.
That's it. Okay.
So we encourage people that when you test reactive with the self-test kits, it's not a final test. So you now need to go to a health facility where you can do a confirmatory test. Okay. So it is based on that we can now know that you are positive or not. Last, 2023, we had about 202 people getting confirmed as positive, and they were all put on treatment.
Wow.
Yeah. Last year, by the end of the last quarter, we had about 54 people confirmed as positive and put on treatment. So, and people are usually happy when they go on treatment because at least it helps you protect your immune system, it boosts your immune system, suppresses the virus, and makes you live your life
more refreshed and less.
So your listeners,
the self-test kits.
Yes, if any of them is interested, if they call, we have some test kits for them.
0552-880-216.
Yes.
Some self-tests, HIV kits.
Yes.
That is what Mr. Ernest Amwabe Otson. Mr. Ernest Amwabe Otson is here. He is the president, Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, GANET. And so he has some free test kits available. Call in if you need any, and then you can come pick it up. It's very important that you stay safe out there. We are in the festive season, and there's a lot happening. You do not want to risk your health, all in the name of what? Sometimes the person will even leave you and go. But yes, even if they don't call in now, what we'll do is I will save it, and then for our next for our show tomorrow, we'll reiterate it. Sometimes they are shy; they don't want to, but don't be shy. Yes. It's just a self-test kit.
Yes.
So when you test it, you would know where you stand and how and why it is important for you to ensure that you preserve that negative status. Exactly. Mr. Otson, Do you have any final words to share with us?
Well, finally, I would like to encourage all of us. We've entered a new year, and I've been telling my friends that this is the final year of the first quarter of the 21st century. We are doing 25 years into the 21st century. So we are talking a quarter of the century ahead of us.
Yes.
And for me, it's very significant. So people should take good care of themselves. If you're HIV negative, make sure that you remain negative. If you are positive, take your medication seriously, be on treatment. And I would like to thank my staff at Garnet, very hard-working staff. Today, as I mentioned, they'll be at Laboma to distribute more kits, more condoms, talk to the public about all of that. And I greet the entirety of the Garnet membership across the country. My family, my wife Anne, and my 2 kids, Kojo and the ACCK. I love you guys all. Take care, and may God see us through another year.
There'll be small shout-outs from Daddy. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest Amwabe Otten. He is the president, Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, and we had a conversation about the festivities and HIV. Now, you can remember that you're having all the fun, but the disease is still around, lurking, looking for its next victim. So don't be that next victim. Make sure you're taking all the precaution that you can lay your hands on. There are self-test kits available. There are condoms available. Make sure you are protected. Remember that song we used to sing? If it's not on, please, can we have that song back?
Yes. But actually, this year we are thinking of another song in that mood. There are new artists.
Yeah.
And the younger people.
Okay, that will identify with them. Okay, it's important.
It's very much in the pipeline.
Please make sure you do it fast, because time is not on our side.
It's true.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, and then Happy New Year to you once again.
Many returns.
All right, it's still the Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM.